The first point is described as having to spend a long time with great difficulty to understand the Prajnaparamita. You will see that all through the text it is mentioned a lot about the Prajnaparamita. The emphasis at the time of the writing of the text was regarding that specific text of the Prajnaparamita, but this fault can surely apply to any other aspect of the study and the practice of Dharma. So why having to spend a long time with great difficulty to understand the Prajnaparamita can be considered as a fault? It is in the sense that eventually the students who engage into the reading and understanding of this text, finding great difficulty to understand it, did not or does not read some proper commentary eventually, or has not listened a proper transmission of the commentary on such texts. So to just go on a specific text without success, and at the contrary meeting difficulties without to search quicker for solutions, is considered as a fault. So the fault actually is not regarding the fact of not understanding the Prajnaparamita, which is a quite complicated and deep text to understand, but the faults are related to the obstacles preventing this understanding. So not to apply the correct antidote to one's own mind, not to search for the proper qualified teacher, not to engage in the correct meditation and practice in order to sharply enter into the meaning of the Prajnaparamita. These are actually constituting the fault. So when we engage into the study or into the practice of a specific text, we have to, let's say, be broad-minded enough not to stubbornly apply our attention just on the words composing such texts, but we need to also go into the proper listening of teachings related to it, the proper explanation about these texts, and we need to engage into the meditation appropriate to open our mind on the meaning of such texts. So this is our responsibility in front of a text, and it's not just because you read it that it suddenly falls into the brain and sinks into the mind. It requires that we apply diligently the correct antidote and methods. Since also our understanding of a text depends on the amount of merit we have accumulated, it is important to share our time between the correct amount of study and the correct amount of merit accumulation and negative karma purification. We can be extremely stubborn on one text as long as we want, but if we do not remove the obstacles, the karmic obstacles to the correct understanding, and if we do not accumulate the correct amount of merits necessary to reach the depth of that specific text or matter, then we are losing much time for nothing, and we might not reach the understanding of the text. So if we see some obstacle to understand the text which remain, even though we have the correct advice, the correct text, apply the correct antidote, it might be that we need to accumulate merits and purify negative karmas accumulated in the past. So we have to shift from the concentration on that text into the application of the methods to accumulate merits and purify negativities. For those who are not familiar with the Prajnaparamita, it's the Heart Sutra. So it's the text which goes into the explanation of emptiness, of the non-inherent existence of all phenomena. The whole text of the Prajnaparamita can be quite long, actually, longer than what we know as the Heart Sutra, which is a condensed form of the Prajnaparamita. So in your effort to understand emptiness, to understand the true nature of our reality, if you find obstacle, if you think that your progress into this understanding is not swift enough, you might need to engage into practice to accumulate merits and purify negative karma, such as the practice of the prostration to the 35 Buddhas, which is very effective method for accumulating merits, and to recite the mantra of Vajrasattva for the purification of negative karma. Recitation of mantra alone, or along with the practice of Vajrasattva if you have received the empowerment.